Bayern, a monopoly in the Bundesliga, winning 12 titles in a row, winning every title they could play for during that period, achieving the highest levels you can achieve as a football organization, winning the sextuple, and almost winning one 7 years earlier. This season, they look like a shadow of themselves, unrecognizable, disorientated, a team with a manager who has given up. How could such a giant team potentially lose out on the league for the first time in 12 years against the new team in town, Bayern Leverkusen?
It's party time here in Leverkusen.
It all started with this guy. This is the man behind the beginning of the downfall. Hansi came mid-season after the sacking of Kovac, a former Bayern player, after when it wasn't really going the way we all wished it went. See, now Kovac's philosophy was not a bad concept, where it was based around a mix of young players and older players. While Bayern having their oldest team in the league, it was very hard to achieve such a thing. This didn't stop him from bringing young talents such as Alphonso Davies, Serge Gnabry, Renato Sanchez, and Leon Goretzka. 3 of those that got mentioned have a start in the starter 11. When Kovac came into Bayern, he abandoned his formation he used to play at Frankfurt, which was a 3-back, and he started developing a 4-2-3-1 formation. And Bayern was a team who had the ball most of the time, and this led to confusions because when Kovac was the manager at Frankfurt, they really didn't have the ball. So this was a new shock for him. Him rotating players caused friction with some of the players. One in particular was James Rodriguez, who was public about his dissatisfaction of being benched or rather going unnoticed. Seeing that he didn't really progress the team further and lost to Liverpool in the Champions League, Kovac got sacked after losing to Frankfurt 5-1, which was our biggest defeat since 2009. When Hansi came in, Bayern were predicted to lose out on the league and the team was looking disjointed. Having said that, Flick didn't change the formation, he kept it as 4-2-3-1 but implemented the gegenpressing, which was pressing man to man. When attacking, the formation would normally change to a 3-2-5 and it was more cross-oriented. And with all of that, plus a new manager bounce, Bayern ended up with winning the Bundesliga, winning the Champions League, the DFB Pokal, every other cup they could win. So what happened after this amazing, great season? These two happened. After winning everything, Flick decided to depart Bayern Munich, and here came the new man in town, Julian Nagelsmann. Imagine not subscribing. Imagine being behind the wave. What are you doing? Subscribe! Nagelsmann was a manager who was making a lot of noise with Leipzig, having a young talented squad and making the most of it, competing against Bayern Munich. He was playing amazing football and he was one of the youngest managers currently in the market. When coming into Bayern as a young manager, many were questioning if he caused friction with the players such as Müller, Neuer, and everyone that are older in that group. Well, that shouldn't matter, right? Anyway, because after all, he's a great manager who has proven himself to be ready for the big league. Well, these two didn't. Hassan, also known as Brazo, and Oliver Kahn, 2 former players and also iconic legends in our club. 2 Bayern legends who I hugely respect as players, but their decision here was awful. After losing out on the Champions League the first season against Villarreal and also losing out on the DFB Cup, the pressure was on Nagelsmann. Having a slow start the season after didn't really help either. So when the international break came and everyone was relaxing, Bayern were really winning a lot of games. They were drawing, but they were at least first in the league and they were doing quite well in the Champions League and they were in almost every cup the season after. And here comes the news that Julian Nagelsmann was sacked. Everyone is confused, including Julian Nagelsmann, because he didn't get the news from the club. He saw it in the news, just like everyone else, which was a huge disrespect and a blow to Nagelsmann's pride. But regardless, they had another man on their sights, and that was Thomas Tuchel. So Thomas Tuchel became the new manager mid-season once again. Me personally, I didn't really agree with that decision, and I've always said that if you look at my tweets. However, as a Bayern fan, I will always back my manager and the players and the board with whatever decision they make, even if it's completely wrong, and I will just have complete faith in them until they prove me otherwise. And besides, the reason that Julian Nagelsmann was sacked, according to them, was they didn't want to lose out on any trophies and they thought they had a high chance of winning everything if Thomas Tuchel came. Well, that was wrong, because after his second game, which was a tournament game against Freiburg in the quarterfinals of the DFB Cup, Bayern lost once again. 2 games after that, we play against Manchester City and we lose 3-0 in the quarterfinals. And then Bayern lose against Leipzig, which makes us almost lose out on the league but win with goal difference because of Dortmund's own idiocy. But regardless, Bayern won the league because of goal difference, which was the first time this has ever happened since 2000, which was 24 years ago. But regardless, his tenure is coming to an end now soon, and it has been a very confusing one. Losing games that we shouldn't be losing, playing unorganized and disjointed. No, and they're really training behind the new team in town, talk of the town, Bayer Leverkusen, which are a couple of points ahead of us. See, now the question is, what is next for Bayern Munich? Who can they reinstate as the manager? Well, the answer is not really quite straightforward one because there's not that many managers available currently. Bayern can easily return to Flick, but Flick wants a guaranteed spot and a guaranteed couple of years with Bayern, which Bayern cannot promise to him. We can return back to Julian Nagelsmann and try and give him a chance. We can maybe branch out and see what managers such as De Zerbi, who is doing quite well with Brighton. We could also look at the new talk in town, boy manager, Amorim, or maybe even Klopp, which is like very, very unlikely. Bayern can and will definitely recover from this, but it might take some time, unfortunately. I've been your host, Eunice, and I'll see you guys in the next video.